Okay, hello everyone. Sorry for the delay. I had issues with the dog. I hope you're all doing all well on this. Um, what day is it today? First of all, I don't know what day it is. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Hope you're all doing well on this Wednesday day. Um, today I'm a little bit fired up, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Obviously, I wanted to do this before Mr. TARDIS did his stream on this, among other things as well. But I thought I'd get my thoughts out on all this. Let's just see who's in the chat first of all. So hello to Dan23, DK, Hoovian10, Mariana Goose Morelli. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. I'm terrible with name pronunciation. Snoopy123, Vat, Ethan McClellan, um, Nathan Mann, Adric. Wow, we've got a bit of a celebrity in the chat. Adric's here. Hello to Kathy Anderson from the US. Well, hello to you. Hello to America. That is a weird thing to say, isn't it? Hello to Paul Malley as well. Angry Pacifist, of course. I think that's everyone. If I forgot someone, sorry. Hello to Ben Newblown. Yeah, sorry I'm late. I had some issues with the dog, but we're all sorted now. Hello to Jane Smith, Michael Orange, Mr. Werewolf, Project Boredom, Murray Mint. That's a great name. Yeah, hello to everyone. I'm just going to get straight into this. So obviously, if you've been online over the past day or two, you'll have seen that we've had some images from the set of Series 13, and it's caused a bit of a wee ruckus in the fandom, if you can call it that. But what I will do before we get into anything about the controversy surrounding these images is I'm just going to read the actual article. Now, I do apologise because it's for the Daily Mail. However, we're going to read it nonetheless. Oh god, the adverts are quite incessant. Okay, so Doctor Who's Jodie Whittaker is comforted by co-star John Bishop as he gives her a hug while taking a break from the set of Series 13. Now, we'll get into the images here and you can see them here, but we'll obviously look at them as we go through them. Why is this website so slow? It's because it's loading like 5 different things. No, I don't want to watch Dermot O'Leary. You probably can't see that because of where my webcam is, but basically it was Dermot O'Leary on... Is that his name? Yeah, on this morning, which I don't want. Jodie Whittaker was receiving a hug from her co-star John Bishop during a break from Series 13 filming. The actress, 38, appeared to be comforted by the comedian, 54, while they headed to set in Bristol with Mandip Gill on Monday. While they walked between sets, Jodie and John were seen talking to each other before she wrapped an arm around his waist and draped his over her shoulders for a brief embrace. And that's what you can basically see there. For some reason, Mandip Gill looks bewildered in this picture, I'm not sure why. While it's unclear why Jodie needed a hug from her co-star, she appeared downcast as John offered some comfort to her. Jodie was seen in costume as the iconic Time Lord as she donned a purple shirt with colourful stripes and a tucked-in pair of blue dungaree trousers. She completed her look with a pair of lace-up boots and colourful socks, while she also carried a large coat and drinks with her on the way to set. John, meanwhile, transformed into the Doctor's new companion Dan by wearing a blue baseball jacket over a placid shirt and denim jeans. Comfort, Jodie and John were seen talking to each other before she wrapped an arm around his waist, and he draped it over her shoulders. Okay, so yeah, you can see here, that's what's basically happening in these images. We'll go a bit more in depth about the images. Upset, while it's unclear why Jodie needed a hug from her co-star, she appeared downcast. John offered some comfort to her. Mandip Gill seen following closely behind the pair. The trio's day on set together comes after rumours emerged that Jodie will leave after Series 13. In March, the BBC refused to comment on speculation after it was reported that the screen star handed in her notice for the show. Jodie reportedly told BBC bosses that she won't be returning to the popular series following the conclusion of the upcoming Series 13. John leaned his head on Jodie as they hugged briefly. Why is this so slow? In character, Jodie was seen in costume as the iconic Time Lord. Yeah, we sort of read this bit. That will mark a 3-year run for the actress, which is about average for actors playing the time-travelling alien. Matt Smith, David Tennant, and Peter Capaldi also appeared on Doctor Who, for 3 series, while Christopher Eccleston only appeared on 1 series after the show was revived in 2005. According to a source from the Mirror, the show is already figuring out how Whittaker will be replaced by the 14th Doctor. It's all very hush-hush, but it is known that on set that Jodie is leaving, and they're gearing up for regeneration, one source said. Or a source said. More images. Her departure is top secret, but at some point over the coming months, the arrival of the 14th Doctor will need to be filmed. It's very exciting. As with previous Doctors, at the end of Jodie Whittaker's tenure, her character will regenerate into a new form, at which point the next actor will take over the role. Jodie made history in 2017 when she was announced as the first ever female Doctor after Peter Capaldi ended his run. And we'll get more into this later, but earlier this year, Mandip revealed that bosses are open to casting women of colour as the next Time Lord. The actress who played Jasmine Khan in the sci-fi series said that there's definitely room for change when it comes to diversifying the show's cast following reports that Jodie has quit the role after 4 more years in the TARDIS, or 4 years in the TARDIS. It comes after who was universally praised by fans for introducing the first ever Black Doctor, played by Joe Martin, in a shocking twist that saw the time traveller learn of the numerous incarnations from her past. Speaking on BBC4, Mandip said she could see another Black Doctor taking on the famous role, as bosses are yet to confirm rumours that Jodie will leave the show later this year. She said, "I think there's a long way to go, but there's definitely room for change, and actually, I think at the BBC and at Doctor Who, they are very open and forward-thinking, so yes." Mandip joined the cast as he has alongside Jodie's Doctor in 2018, and they will appear alongside John when he joins the series as the new companion Dan later this year. I think most of this, have we just got to the bottom? I think we have, yeah. Okay, so before we get into this, I need to talk about the controversy that this started. So, obviously, fans found this article and did what fans do, which is speculate about images from set. Nothing out of the ordinary there. But obviously, because the images appear to be quite delicate, at least for Whittaker, people raised concern that maybe it was a private matter and maybe we shouldn't be speculating about her emotions on set. And I have a bit of a weird feeling on this. I understand, first off, I understand the concern, but surely, and this is just my opinion, surely if it was a private moment and a tender moment, surely we should be blaming the male for making these images public, not the fans for speculating about them. At the end of the day, fans always speculate on stuff. It's always the case. It happens with everything. Am I saying that these images should be taken if it was private? Of course I'm not. Do I condone invasive tactics like this if it was? Of course I don't. That's why I've got an issue with the male doing it. I always said the Mirror. I keep saying the Mirror because I'm so used to talking about that article about Jodie's departure. But at the end of the day, it's quite inevitable that when you see a bunch of images of Jodie looking sad, and we've recently had that big thing from the Mirror talking about her regeneration, and basically saying how it's pretty much, very much likely, it's inevitable that people are going to draw that conclusion. I don't think, because this is what I think is the issue. People were saying, oh, delete this tweet because it's a private thing for Jodie. But the thing is, first off, yes, she looks upset. But as much as you can't assume that it's her leaving, because we don't know that, you also can't assume that it's a super private thing, because we don't know that either. So when people are saying, oh, we can't speculate about this because it's a private thing, we don't know that it was. That's what I mean. You do realise that by saying it's probably a private thing, you are still speculating yourself. That's what, that annoyed me. But also, I think what annoyed me more about this was just that, some people were able to, post about this and receive absolutely no backlash whatsoever, and others posted about it, such as myself. I can show you the tweet that I made about this. All I said was, if I can get it, I can tell you anyway, even if I can't get the tweet, but all I said was the caption, "I don't want to go with some of these pictures." That was really it. That's all I said about this. But for some reason, people decided I needed to be the one to be taught a lesson. And look, I understand that it could be a private moment and that, maybe you don't feel comfortable speculating yourself. But I don't feel like it's that thing is, if the images are already out there, the damage has already been done. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that what happened was right if it was a private moment, but what I am saying is it's kind of after the fact now. If people are speculating about things that are already out, then that's going to happen. But the thing is, by telling people to delete their tweets about this, to not talk about this, it doesn't actually stop people from talking about it. All you actually do is cause people to go more private about it. They'll still talk about it, it just won't be in your eye line. So you're not actually fixing anything by saying, don't talk about it, really. That's my opinion on it. And obviously, I don't want to cause any drama or any shit, but what I will say is I do find it very strange that a lot of the people who were very vocal about defending John Barrowman for what he's done over the years are now coming out and saying that speculating about this is too far. Like, I'm sorry, but whamming your dick out multiple times is fine, but speculating about some images where an actor looks sad, that's pushing the boundary too far for you. I don't really get that. I feel like surely they should be reversed. You know, like, but the thing is, a lot of people do feel that we shouldn't be talking about these and that we shouldn't be speculating about her emotions because we don't have context. But the thing is, that's the case for the majority of leaked images. We don't have context for them, but we still speculate about them. I'll give you another example, right? Say you saw a friend or a family member out and about and they looked sad. Are you not going to go back to your family or your friends and then say, so-and-so looked a bit sad today. I wonder what could be wrong? Of course you will, because that's normal. That's what happens. And I know I'm really going to get a lot of shit for this, but like that is something that happens. People will speculate when people look sad. It's just normal. I think most people would do that. And I just feel as though you're not really going to stop people from doing it by saying that they shouldn't, really. And yeah, I find that just entirely bizarre, to be honest. But I want to know what you guys think about that. Because people were genuinely saying that I was being invasive for posting these. It's like, no, the damage has already been done. The images have already been posted on a publication that has a much wider reach than I will ever have. The damage has already been done. The way some people were talking, it's like I literally snuck on to set, you know, put my wheelchair on silent or whatever, and literally took these images myself. That's not what happened. I just don't think... You know, I don't really... the Nathan man basically summed up my point there. I mean, if Tharries was there with a little pair of binoculars taking pics, fair enough. But the blame is really on the male. Exactly, that's how I feel. If you want to blame someone for taking something that's meant to be private, then blame the Daily Mail. Don't blame the fans for speculating. Because at the end of the day, that's what fans do. They're going to speculate on anything. You know, like... What I will say, I will concede two things. I do think it was strange that you had some people going, hype, when she was crying. I think that's weird. I think that's very strange. And I also think that people demanding to know what was going on, that is also strange. But I think just saying, could this be to do with Jodie's regeneration? Or, could this be to do with John Bishop leaving? I really don't see the harm in it. I really don't. I'm sorry, I just don't see the issue with it. Like, at the end of the day, the images are already out. Do I agree with them going out if they weren't meant to? No. But they are out now. So, what actual thing is this going to benefit to you if people are talking about it? Like, okay, yeah, she might be upset, but there's every other possibility that it's something else. You know, it could be about her leaving. It could be about John Bishop leaving. You can't just say that it's a personal matter and therefore we shouldn't talk about it because you don't know any better than the rest of us. Do you know what I mean? It's just... I really... That really annoyed me. What I did notice as well is that some people were able to talk about this with no one saying anything. And then I posted a quote from The End of Time, but that was the step too far. Again, as Nathan said in the chat there, I could understand if a fan literally was there taking pictures. Yeah, that would be, you know, the fan base's fault. But in this case, a major tabloid put it in an article and people are just talking about it. That's just what happens. And people will say, well, we shouldn't be held to the same standard. You know, obviously the male is obviously going to do what the male does, and we shouldn't see that as the standard. I'm not saying we should, but at the end of the day, what are you actually achieving by telling people not to talk about it? Because they still will. At the end of the day, by saying, oh, don't talk about this, what they'll do, they'll just go on to different message boards or different accounts or DMs or whatever. They'll still talk about it. I just don't really see, you know, I think there's just so many things that have gone on in the community and in, like, Doctor Who in general that are just so much worse, and just in the world as well. They're so much worse than people looking at a picture of an actress being sad and going, I wonder if this could to do with, like, the major rumour that she's leaving. I think that's a pretty logical conclusion to come to. And I think vilifying people for coming to that conclusion, or any conclusion, about these images is kind of weird. I don't get it. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on this, is that the images are already out. I don't really see what the issue is. It's not as if one of us took them. It's in a major tabloid, and we're just taking images from a major tabloid. The images are already out there. Looking at something or posting something that already exists isn't invasive. That's just looking at things. It just bloody annoys me, man. Tell you. Oh god, but what do I actually think about the images? Because obviously I know we've had a long rant about the response to these, but and by the way, I want to point out, people who do think that this is wrong, fair enough. I can't stop you from feeling that way. But at the end of the day, I don't really think that fans saying what it could be is that bad. All I'll say is, if you're really hyped over someone crying, that's a bit weird. And also, what was the other thing? And people demanding to know what the context of this image is. That's a bit weird because, you know, that's very entitled. But what I will say is, just looking at things that are in the public domain, because they are now, they're publicly available and viewable. If they'd been taken down off the website, perhaps, and people were still talking about them, then maybe I'd understand that a bit more then. But even in that case, like, once something's public, it's very difficult to make it not public, you know? But yeah, like, what I will say about this is, I've got a couple of thoughts. First off, Mandip doesn't look as upset as the other two, which would possibly lead to the idea of John Bishop having his final day. So it could be that. But what I will say is that I don't know whether John Bishop and Jodie Whittaker will have known each other for long enough to the point where that reaction would be, like, what would happen, in my opinion. Like, if it was her and Yaz hugging, because obviously Mandip and Jodie have worked together for 3 series, I'd get that. But, like, for all intents and purposes, they've only been working together for, like, 4 months. And I know you can come close in that time, but it just seems very quick to be getting that, you know, being that upset when someone leaves. Which makes me think that it's more about Jodie than it is about John Bishop. Because, like, for all we know, Mandip might have already done her emotional bit before this, or do it after these images were taken. We don't know. Like, I feel like it's a bit presumptuous to say that there's a big personal issue going on, though, because we don't know that. And you could say it's presumptuous to assume it's a regeneration. I'm just talking about the images. I feel like there's not that much wrong in doing that. I just don't see the big issue. But that's just me. If, again, as I said, if a fan took these and they did it sneakily, yeah, fair enough. But it's in a tabloid. The deed is done. You can't undo it now, you know? Like, and, like, yeah, this image is weird because she does look, like, really confused. So perhaps she didn't like the images being taken. And again, that's why I would say, if that was the case, then I think the Mirror shouldn't, not the Mirror, I keep saying the Mirror, the Mail shouldn't have done that. The Daily Mail shouldn't have done that. But again, that isn't fans' fault, you know? It's not something that they did. Wait, hang on, let me see if I can get, apparently a bunch more of these. Oh no, that's just old images, right? So it's annoying that they've lumped in, like, all the old images in the article with all the ones that we're talking about. But yeah, it annoyed me, the reaction to this, because I think there's so many, like, and I get it, you know, she might be upset, but then she might not be upset because of a personal tragedy. And I think it is as much of a leap to make to say that it's a personal tragedy, I just find it really weird in general when people get so defensive of, like, not only people that they've ever met, but also like the fact that they're celebrities and people are talking about them like they know them personally, and they know that these facial expressions mean that she's going through something personal. You don't know any better than the rest of us. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see that at all. I think if we knew for a fact that that was the case, if Jodie came out and said this was really personal, or someone came out and said this was a really personal moment, then fair enough, I guess. But that's not what's happened. My local newspapers say Doctor Who Jodie Whittaker replaced by Michaela Cole after BAFTA win. Yeah, I did a whole video once on a ridiculous article by, I can't remember who it was now, it might be in the Express, saying that, Helen Bonham Carter was taking over. And I might bring back that series of newspapers saying that certain doctors are definitely a thing, because it is very funny. I don't think you get it, Tharries. Twitter users know the correct objective moral standards. If you don't follow them, then exactly, then you are evil, end of. Yeah, that's the problem, though. Like, some people do act like they have the objective, correct moral standards, and they don't. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't think that this is as big of an issue as something like Noel Clarke or John Barrowman, and some people are treating it like it's worse, and I'm like, what? If people looking at some public images, there's a big difference between that and whamming your dick out, I'm sorry. Like, but yet somehow those people can defend that. I find that bizarre. Like, have some consistency. If you're gonna find taking pictures of Jodie, not even taking pictures of Jodie, reacting to pictures taken of Jodie a step too far, and then surely you've got to find getting a dick out too far as well. Like, where's the moral consistency? If you're gonna try and be moral, at least be consistent about how you're moral. You know, I just Tharries, to be honest, I'm okay with anyone as the Doctor. I'll just want new sonic screwdriver toys. Fair enough. I love getting a new sonic screwdriver. On the plus side, you haven't been cancelled yet, unless I don't know something. No, I mean, people have tried. I don't even know whether you guys know this, but like a few months back, falsified allegations were made against me that were proven like false very quickly. But people still automatically believed those. But you know, that wasn't something that happened at all. But yet people automatically went with those. But I guess that's my point. Like, because I think it's the case, because I don't fall into one extreme or the other. I don't fall into people who do this, but I also don't fall into people who are like the complete other end of the spectrum, where they, you know, like the extreme, like not my doctor people who will say, you know, sexist and racist, because I don't fall into either of those extremes. It gives both the sides a reason to hate me, I guess. Like, and I just feel as though I'm not going to conform to someone's moral standards because they believe that they're the right ones. That's just not how I act. If I think something's wrong, I'll say. And that's why I've been more outspoken about John Barrowman and Noel Clarke than perhaps some of you would have liked, because at the end of the day, I felt that those were big issues. I think that some actions are just morally wrong, and like, it's very difficult to forgive those, and I'm of the opinion that anything of a sexual nature is one of those. But reacting to some images, I really don't see that on the same level. I just don't. You know, I just think the fan base needs to chill out a bit. Like, at the end of the day, people were just saying, I wonder if this is a regeneration thing. What I did notice, and again, I'm not saying this is everyone, but I saw a lot of people who have hated talking about the idea of Jodie leaving, or have not even wanted to mention it, get very defensive of this when people start talking about her leaving. And I'm not saying that people have ulterior motives, but it does seem very convenient that when people start talking about things that you don't agree with, then it's morally unacceptable. I don't agree. I think that talking about images that are already in the public eye is relatively okay. Like, I guess if you were being mean about it, if you're saying, oh yeah, she's crying because she's a woman, you know, like anything like that, that'd have been dumb. And I would have been against that thoroughly. If people were making fun of her for doing this, then that I guess the reaction like that would be warranted, but they weren't. They were just saying, "Oh, I wonder if she's regenerating." That was it, you know. He got close, but wait, what was that? Yeah, I got close, but wait, I'm not sure what that means, Pasmus, but the male's too busy rushing out newspapers every day that they think didn't have time to think it through. Exactly, but that's what I mean. That's the mirror's, the male's fault. I keep saying mirror. You might, if I say mirror, just assume I'm talking about the male, unless I am talking about the mirror. But yeah, like I just apparently as well. I thought I'd make mention this. Apparently, Mandip's got some new shoes, but like that's what I mean. People talking about that, people being excited about that, didn't get nearly the reaction that people said. That people who were saying that it was about her regenerating. I do think there's a bias there. I do think that to a certain extent, at least Twitter. I don't know whether YouTube's the same. I doubt it, but I do feel like Twitter especially, there is a certain hierarchy there. And if you don't fall under the opinion shared by them, then you are almost like like abandoned by them and sort of ostracized. That's how it feels anyway. Yeah, I just find it bizarre. You know what this whole thing reminds me of? I don't know whether, like, again, this might be a completely foreign story to some of you, because like, I know some of you don't on Twitter and that. But there was recently a controversy. Do you remember in Series 6, Amy had a baby and it exploded into goo in, I believe, I want to say it was Good Man Goes to War. And there was a certain section of people, and obviously someone made a joke that that looked a bit like a certain substance that comes from a man's, let's just say genitalia for now. And people were basically saying that that was disrespectful to the character of Amy Pond, and that you were, what was it? You were making fun of a mother who just lost their baby. That's what people... Do I wear that shirt every day? No, I have multiple of these types of tops. But it does, I realise from an outside point of view, it does look like I just wear one top. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm on about, Atomize. But, like, that's what I mean. People got up in arms about that. That's what I think this is to me. It's just people finding something to get, you know, I feel like the reaction to this, obviously it's not quite as unreasonable, and I do get it to an extent, but I do just feel sometimes people want things to try and get on their high horse about. I feel like that's what it is sometimes. And if that's, like, not people's intention, fair enough. And I'm not going to stop anyone from thinking that, you know, I'm not going to stop anyone from feeling uncomfortable at the idea of speculating about these images. But at the end of the day, I just don't think it's that I don't think it's that deep. Fans speculate about everything. But, like, when people say, delete this tweet, you know what it reminds me of? I said this on Twitter at one point as well. It reminds me of when people say, oh, let's spread some positivity. What you don't actually stop negativity from existing by doing that. If anything, you make people who feel negatively about something feel all the more ostracized when you don't let them be part of the conversation. Like, it doesn't actually achieve anything. And it's the same thing with this. It's the same thing with this. By saying delete your tweets about these posts, you're not actually solving anything. You're just making people feel more volatile. Everyone has an opinion, exactly. He has different shirts, but they all look the same, like a cartoon character. Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, Tommy in it has the, what is it, like, the white and red shirt. I have the Adidas blue shirt. If anyone ever meets me, then I'll wear this so you know that it's me. Not that the wheelchair wouldn't be a giveaway in itself, I suppose. But, my Wi-Fi went weird, so I had to come back to stream. First thing I said was, let's say genitalia. Oh, what a thing to come back to. What an absolute legendary thing to come back to. No, I swear it made sense in context. I promise. But yeah, I find this bizarre. Genuinely bizarre. And, like, what annoys me is that people, you know, they'll, in my opinion, be, like, morally wrong on one thing. I mean, like, I suppose I can never say what's morally right and morally wrong, because everyone's got their own definition of that. But like I said, people will defend things like John Barrowman, but then when fans tweet about this, that's a step too far. Like, where... it just seems a little bit inconsistent to me. You're like Tom Scott, yeah. I noticed that the images she was in her costume. Yeah, she was. Exactly, so she was probably off to filming. I mean, and I'm not saying that some personal things can't happen when you're filming, but for all we know, it could just be an emotional scene. But you can't. That's what I mean. You can't assume that it's a personal tragedy, because if anything, I think that's more invasive than to say, I wonder if it's her regenerating. I think that's more dodgy, to be honest. To be like, oh, Jodie must be going through some emotional crisis. It's like, who are you to say that? You know, like, you don't know it personally. Unless you know it personally, then. Sorry, Tharries, this has now become about a stream about your shirt. That's fair enough. Yeah. But I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. And again, as I said, if you feel uncomfortable with this, fair enough. I'm not going to stop you. But I just really don't think it's as bad as some people are making out that it is. What else was there about these images that I wanted to discuss? So obviously I wanted to discuss the possibility of it being the regeneration ones, because, not regeneration, but I mean at least wrapping and filming images. There's a couple of possibilities that would make that more likely. I think one of them being that, if I can get it up, obviously recently, if I scroll down far enough, but by the way, follow me on Twitter if you don't already. Thank you. No, if I scroll down far enough, we had the first bit of like Doctor Who promotion for Series 13 we've had since Revolution, and normally things like that only happen when they're relatively close to finishing filming. So that makes the idea of this being Jodie's final scenes even more plausible, which makes the speculation about it even more, like, not justified, but make even more sense. I think there was a thing about John Bishop being on a cruise, so I don't know whether his filming would end in July, but I suppose they don't all end at the same time. What if she has to face Salamander from the Enemy of the World? That'd be interesting. I can't really remember Enemy of the World. I think I have watched bits of it, but I can't really remember it. Follow Tharries leaks. Yeah, but like that's the thing. You know, I had genuine people coming up to me and saying that talking about leaks was harmful, and saying that you spread rumor mongering. That was the word that they used. I'm not going to say their name, but at the end of the day, as long as you're not deliberately trying to push some sort of narrative onto people, or you're not trying to, I guess, deliberately mislead people, as long as you make it abundantly clear that these are probably bollocks, then I really don't see the issue in talking about leaks or rumours. Everyone does that. And I know people will say, well, that, just because everyone does it doesn't make it okay. Yeah, but like, you know, there are genuine bigots and just horrible people in this community, and genuine people who are like predators in this community, as like the last few months have like proven, and you want to go after people making leak videos. I mean, weird choice, but I can't really stop you, I suppose. You know what I mean? I just find it weird, like, how some people's morals work. No, his channel is not sponsored by Adidas. If I was sponsored by Adidas, if you're watching this, there's 82 people in here. If you're watching this, I will do a deal. You can supply me with blue t-shirts, and I'll promote them. Yeah, exactly. If you're making leaks yourself, if you're deliberately trying to mislead people, then yeah. But as long as you say, this is probably bollocks, I got this from this place, and I'm just going to talk about whether I think it'll happen or not, I really don't see the issue. I just don't. I think what it comes down to is, apparently we've got a bit of lag. Apologies if there is any lag. Oh, crap. Alright, I think that might have solved that. I think it might have gone a bit more stable now. Apologies if there is any lag. For some reason, the stream has just completely decided to nuke itself. So thanks for that. What was I saying? Yeah, I understand if it was people making stuff up, but it's not. It's just people talking about leaks. I really don't see the issue in it. I think it's pretty harmless. And as I said, there are genuine like predators in this community, and you want to go after you want to go after people who make leaks. I'm gonna buy the Tharries Adidas shirt. You know what? That's what I'm saying. Adidas, it would be lucrative for the both of us. You know, you make some shirts, you put my logo on them, we'll sell them to the 70 odd people watching this because it dropped because of the stream not being consistent for some reason. we'd make a great parent, I think, The TARDIS is also blue. It is. That's why I wear blue a lot. I wished to see an episode called Planet of the Werewolves for Series 14. Interesting. Very interesting. I suppose the only thing we've had of werewolves is Tooth and Claw. Yeah, I don't know why it's buffering. Apologies for that. I really don't know why. I don't know how I can fix it. Hang on, if I open the widget. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough information to maintain... Oh, it's gone now. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're okay. As soon as I looked at, the widget, apparently it went away. Thank you for following me, by the way, Huey. If you want to follow me, then you can. I very much appreciate it. But, stuff and things. Oh, by the way... in terms of news, I just wanted to say congrats to Dominic G. Martin, Who Chaser, for getting to be a producer on Big Finish. That's a massive thing. Love Who Chaser, love his stuff. It just reminded me because I was on Twitter. But yeah, thank you. Not thank you. Well done to him. Absolutely amazing guy. Deserves all the success in the world. Yeah, much love to the Who Chaser. But as I said, Tharries, Adidas have big plans for you, big fans. Adidas' Tharries merch. I mean, look, I would love some Adidas Tharries merch. I think it would be a great crossover. It's like when the Sonic movie came out and they made those shoes that were like Adidas ones, but they were like Sonic shoes. That's what we want. We want Tharries Adidas shirts. What is this stream? It's just talking about shirts at this point. But yeah, I really don't see the harm in talking about this. Obviously, I'm not going to get people's... oh yeah, please like the video if you haven't already. If you like it, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. That'd be very much appreciated. Ace. I won't buy a shirt. Fair enough. I wouldn't. I highly doubt that an Adidas Tharries crossover would ever happen anyway. Imagine if I just get an email after the stream being like, hey. But no. Someone just says the word Peladon. Yes. Oh yeah, no, I'm guessing that's in reference to the Who Chaser and what he's producing. Yeah, I think it is something to do with a Peladon collection. You should ask them for affiliate link for that for that shirt. Maybe I will, because you know what? I do plenty of promotion for Adidas. I feel like I should be compensated for my time. Anyway, what else? There was something else I was going to talk about, and I forgot what it was. Wasn't this thing? Oh, there was another thing about... I guess I'm probably not going to make this into a video, so I might talk about it on stream. But I'll get it up on screen anyway. Hang on. Bear with me, I'll just get the image files up. Yeah, here they are. Right. So, our good friend, Williamhugh, recently did a leak video of his own. And what I find interesting about it is that it does tie into some of the previous leaks we've discussed. Big up to Williamhugh, by the way. If you haven't already, go subscribe to him. He deserves it. Like me, he's kind of been getting a lot of shit on Twitter recently for very little reason, and he deserves your support. So go and subscribe to Williamhugh for me if you can. Also subscribe to here. That would be great too. But yeah, we'll go over these in a minute. I'm just getting them all up. Oop, that's the wrong button. 69, hat 69, and 70. Alright, so I'm just going to go over these because obviously I haven't spoken about them yet. I was thinking about doing a video on them, but then I thought, I'm here now, I might as well do it. Take this as you would, with a grain of salt. I'm aware that until the episodes have aired, everyone is skeptical about these things. Things like this, I should say. A friend's friend is part of the Doctor Who production team. I know and appreciate how sketchy this already sounds. It really does. So in Chinese whispers like fashion, I have heard a few things. There is a New Year special, the third part in the ongoing Dalek trilogy. This is a hidden episode 9, outside of the 8-episode series. That is interesting to me because some places, that's a conflicting thing on its own. Some people are saying that the special is part of the 8 episodes, and some people are saying that it's outside of it, so that's an interesting thing in itself. Much like the other specials in the Chibnall era, Yaz, in reference to it being outside the main series, Yaz and Dan are departing at the end of the series. By the end, I mean the Dalek episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I apologise for that, but seriously, they won't leave in episode 8 apparently. 13 starts to mirror Dewan's master a bit more. What I mean is that the terrible revelation of who she apparently is eats away at her and causes her to become unsure of herself and ultimately unstable. Her character needs something like this, I think. I agree. Yes, you will hear my commentary in this text. Oh, the Spy Master is back. His rampage of all things Gallifreyan comes back. 13 and Dewan come head to head in the 2-part finale. Who could have seen that coming? Their paths cross as they both seek the Sisterhood of Khan. The Mr. Master wants to destroy them, whereas 13 demands, in the famous Chibnall-style exposition, the truth of who she really is. It is learned in a strange cliffhanger choice between it's learned in a strange cliffhanger choice between episode 7 and episode 8 that Rassilon has been hiding there since Capaldi kicked him off the planet. Now, this is something that was talked about in a previous Reddit rumour. I'll see if I can get that up. So what I find interesting about this is that the leaks and the rumours all seem to be converging. Now, it could just be that this person has seen that Reddit leak and decided to regurgitate it with a few of the variables changed. Alternatively, it could have been that we are starting to get a more concrete idea of what the series will entail, because obviously we know, through yesterday's video, if you've seen that, we know what the Weeping Angel plot will entail, because, or at least we have a rough idea of what that episode will be about through that leak. Theoretically, anyway. I'm not saying that's factual, but like little parts are starting to come together to form one big whole, and it'll be interesting to see how much of it does turn out to be right and how much of it doesn't. But the 8-part series is made up of 3 2-parters and 2 singular episodes. The format being episode 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7 and 8. That's interesting, because obviously I remember early on there was leaks saying that they were going to all be 2-parters, and there was some that saying there were going to be no 2-parters. I think a blend of both is probably the most likely. I do find it interesting that we do have a 2-parter in the middle of the series. That's not something that tends to happen with Chibnall. It's normally, if you're going to have a 2-parter, at least in Series 12's case, it was one at the beginning and one at the end. So a middle one would be something new for this era. I also do find it interesting that out of the stories that we're getting, at least out of the episodes that out of the episode numbers that we're getting, at least, well, 2 for 6. 6 will be telling 3 stories rather than each telling individual narratives, which I find interesting because I do wonder if certain things are going to feel like they drag and some things are going to feel like they're too short because of the reduced episode count. But the next one, the opening 2-parter is the newly imagined baked potatoes with guns. What I will say is the sort of trolly nature in which this is written kind of gives me vibes that it's not real, but at the same time, you know, it could just be him trying to lighten it up a bit. The second 2-parter is those Snoopy statues. I wish they weren't returning. I believe only Moffat should be allowed to write them. I disagree, actually. I think it'll be interesting to see someone else do them. And I've already mentioned the single episodes will be primarily feature the new chibi monsters, which makes sense. I suppose if you're going to have the returning monsters, you'd want to put the time into them, I suppose, because they're the things that fans really want to see. But then equally, I kind of want some new iconic monsters from the era. The Zygons are referenced in passing and in the background. This is more of a setup for the future series than anything. I think it's a bit like how Magical Talking Rags referenced the Timeless Child in the Ghost Monument. Captain Jackets of GCHQ soldiers were supposed to appear in Revulsion of the Daleks. That's my own working title. Can you imagine how amazing it would be if that was the title? That's probably what I will call this Dalek story from now on, until we get an official name. But due to understandable controversy, they have been replaced by units, which makes sense. Finally, 13 is going to bite the dust sometime in the final act of the episode. Alone, she will be shot by the final Dalek boy, ending the trilogy. Again, the way they've said that just kind of makes it sound like a troll to me, but could be wrong. The cliffhanger will be the regeneration, which will be the opening to the next series. So that idea of a cliffhanger regeneration is something that persists in this leak, which is interesting. I think, as I said, like the rumors are seemingly sort of they're seemingly sort of coming together now, which I find interesting. They're sort of converging. I'll see if I can find actually, if I go on Williamhugh's Twitter, because I'm sure someone mentioned it. Hang on, big up to Williamhugh, by the way. Williamhugh, there we go. If we go to his video, someone in the replies, if I go back far enough, I know it was yesterday, so it wasn't that long ago. Here we go. Yeah, that's the picture. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, it's apparently very similar to this one, which we have covered before. Which if we read out, hey all, I've received a lot of messages asking questions for some leaks I posted yesterday. So yeah, like we talked about this before. I'll see if I can find the video where I talk about it so you guys can watch that. But it does comply with a lot of this, which I find very interesting. And I do find it very interesting that the leaks are starting to get more consistent now. I will not let anyone cancel me, don't worry. Tharries who? That sounds very similar. It's almost like, it's sort of, I like the name though, it's kind of similar to Tharries, which is quite cool. 13 shot by a single Dalek alone, I feel is a bit cruel. Reads like a jaded fan. Yeah, that is true, actually. And the fact they said Dalek boy, like they're almost making like light of it, that makes it feel like a troll to me. Obi-Wan, I have the high ground, Dalek. How about now? Really haven't liked the last few seasons. I'm not a big fan, personally. I'm with you on that. But the one saving grace is the Master. I agree. I hope he stays on after Jodie leaves. I've heard a lot of people speculating that he could be like the next sort of Ainley, where he stays on for multiple Doctors. And honestly, I do hope that that turns out to be the case, because I think his performance as the Master is just pretty great. And he is the best part of this. He's your secret sibling, Tharries. Secret sibling. Wait, oh, do you mean the person who wrote the leak? Perhaps. It wouldn't be the first time, because obviously my April Fool's video the other year was that. Hello to Connor Lucas, how are you? Thanks for coming over. I actually forgot to put this link on Twitter. Maybe it's for the best. Another rumour is the Doctor could regenerate to two people. Yeah, I covered that as well. Oop, I don't know why I keep making this a separate tab. Yeah, if I go into... I'll make a new tab, because I want to keep the stream open, just in case, because the last time my chat went down on the main one, so I'm just trying to keep a secondary tab open, so I can keep an eye on the stream there, watching my own ads, which is, that's not what I wanted to do, but... if I go here, yeah, I covered this fairly recently, the idea of split Doctors, so if you haven't seen my video on that, highly suggest it. There it is right there. And I think honestly, like, that is a possibility for certain. I feel like with the way the Timeless Child arc is going, something like that could happen. 10th Doctor was shot by a Dalek and regenerated, but it didn't change his appearance. That is true. He regenerated via his hand, creating a meta crisis. I doubt that they do something that direct again, though, because obviously this era already gets enough, comparisons made to it and sort of mocking made to it for being too close to the RTD era, so I don't think they'd copy that verbatim. I like Sasha, but I really miss the Suave Masters. Charles Dance as the Master would rock. Fair enough. I think with the Master, it's a scenario where there is only so much you can do with him as a concept, because when you boil it down, he really is just sort of the Doctor, but evil. So the two ways you could play that is have him be a master manipulator or a psychopath. And what I kind of like about Dewan's Master is he's kind of a blend of those two extremes, which I kind of like. But like, they can't all be like Roger Delgado. I think you've got to change them between... out of all the rumours, what do you want most to happen? I think I do want... I know I want Jodie to regenerate. And that's, that's not being, not my Doctor or whatever. That's just me saying, I'm ready for a change now. We've had 3 series with very little being different. And I'm ready for something new, I'd be very much happy if it turned out that the Fugitive Doctor was actually the 14th Doctor, especially, well, if Chibnall was staying on, that would be the most favourable outcome to me. If he's leaving, I'd want a fresh slate. But if he's staying on, which I think he probably is, then I'd probably want Ruth to take over as 14. I like the split Doctor thing-ish. Imagine if 13 is regenerating and the TARDIS falls into a parallel dimension. Upon returning, 13 and 14 are passed out on the TARDIS floor. Yeah, there's been a lot of theories about Series 11 as a whole taking place in a parallel universe, hence why the TARDIS struggled to break through in the Ghost Monument, and obviously when she fall out, hence the TARDIS malfunction as well, and hence why it was slow getting to Osaka and Revolution of the Daleks. So, yeah, there's a lot of theories about it being parallel. I don't think they'll do it, but who knows, I guess. Then again, having said that, like, in the Moffat era, they basically made it so that a lot of the events of the RTD era were wiped from the timeline. So stranger things have happened, really. Would be great to go into the Master a bit more in the way that Loki is exploring Loki as a villain and his motives. Yeah, I actually watched the first episode of Loki today, and I enjoyed it. I will say it was probably a slow burn, but I enjoyed what it was. Obviously, I won't spoil anything for you if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. It hopefully will fill the sort of Doctor Who-shaped hole in my heart while it's not on the air. In the same way that kind of Rick and Morty did for a time. My point was that the Doctor can die and regenerate by being shot by a Dalek. Yeah, true. Yeah, I get what you mean. I really hope this was just a warm-up and Chibnall does his own thing next. In terms of if there was a 14th Doctor, yeah, I agree. I do agree. I do feel sorry for him. Everyone's shouting at you for doing so much new stuff, then getting angry for copying old stuff. The thing is, though, I feel like if the new stuff was really good, I don't think anyone would have an issue. But the problem was, the new stuff that he did introduce didn't really grab people in the same way that the new stuff that RTD or Moffat did introduce, for example. Like, we haven't had a new Chibnall concept that's been anywhere near the level of something like the Weeping Angels, or the Ood, or the Jadoon, or even, like, the Silence. You know, they're just not up to that same standard. If they were up to that standard, I don't think many people would have an issue. But, like, that's the thing. People didn't like his new concepts. So they automatically assumed that the reason why Series 11 wasn't as favorably received was because it had new stuff and no old stuff, when that really wasn't any issue. It's just that people didn't connect to the new stuff they were given. But obviously, having old stuff return is kind of an easy, like, cop-out type thing, because you can instantly please fans by having all this old stuff come back without actually having to write anything new. I really like the premise of Loki, but all the Marvel shows had quite weak endings, so I'm trying to hold back hype. I'm gonna be honest though, like, I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier's ending. I'll say that. Like, I think that was fine for a finale. I do think there were certain things that they kind of glossed over, but I don't really mind Falcon. I do agree with you on WandaVision. That's fair enough. But then equally, I do feel like you can't judge an entire show based on its ending. And I think, to be honest, as shows as a whole, I think the Marvel shows have been pretty stellar. Like, maybe it's just because I'm used to watching Doctor Who, but, like, I don't think they've put a foot wrong yet, really, in terms of, like, the overall show. Yeah, there's, like, little mistakes in them, but I think both shows, both WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, have been pretty good so far. You know, and who knows, maybe Loki will be the one to buck that trend and maybe not be as strong, but I think, you know, it started off well. I do think it was a bit slow in starting, but I think it was a decent episode. Yeah, Chibnall. The thing is, like, Moffat didn't come up with the idea of, like, making Time Lords female, though. That was something that was bounced around long before even Moffat did it. Because I'm pretty sure the actual creator of the show, Sidney Newman, said that he'd like to see a female Doctor. So it wasn't something that Moffat even did. It was something that's been bounced around for a while. It just obviously was Chibnall to be the one to do it. John was very kind to Jodie during the filming. Yeah, it seems that way. Did anyone actually go and see the filming, actually? Because I know some people do. Curious if there's anyone here who actually went and watched it. But yeah, no, it's, WandaVision, the ending wasn't good, mostly because of the virus, I'll just say, because I don't know whether I can say that word, making them change the finale. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I liked it as well. I think, yeah, it took me it took a little while to get going, but when it got going, it's quite good. I do like that they're more deeply exploring Loki as a character. I think that's a really good idea. And that's what I mean. That's what I miss in Doctor Who. You know, I miss when they'd go a bit deeper into the characters. But yeah, I liked Loki just fine. Someone just said the pitting. I agree. I don't know what the context behind that comment is, but yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Yeah. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, some people have asked me when I think we're gonna get proper promotion. Obviously yesterday's leak said that it probably is not gonna be Comic-Con now, well, not Comic-Con, but it would probably be after Comic-Con, which would be August, which would disappoint me because I feel like, as I've said, it's a golden opportunity. And some people have said that Comic-Con might not even happen. I assume it'll happen, but it'll probably just be digital. I think Series 13 will air on October 10th. Well, we'll see if you're right in, I guess, a few months now. Actually, that's only 3 months away now, which isn't too long. That's what I mean, see, like... Oh, actually, no, it's 4 months. But that's really not that long when you put it into context, really. Yeah, I've seen the interview with Peter Davison on the 25th anniversary DVD, where a female news reporter asked him about if the Doctor would ever be female one day. Yeah, it's something that's been knocked about for a long time. It's just that Chibnall was the one to say, yeah, I'm going to do this. Whether he did it well is, you know, like, I think the concept itself can work, because I think actually Joe Martin proved to me that it's a concept that can work very well. It's just, I do wonder if it was done well with Jodie. I don't think it was, but that's just me personally. I hope Series 13 is in 5 years' time, and there's just pure radio silence for no reason. Yeah, that would be... I wouldn't surprise me, I'll be honest. Like, luckily, we've broken the complete radio silence, because we did get at least that announcement of, like, a Q&A with the cast, so at least that's something. But yeah, I do get what you mean. Like, they do tend to, they tend to enjoy their radio silences, shall we say. Do I think Series 13 will be Jodie's last? Yes. I think what they'll do, they'll have her regenerate in the special, and they'll maybe call that part of Series 14 so they can technically say that she regenerated in Series 14, but for all intents and purposes, Series 13 will be her last one. That's what I think they'll do. Yeah, I think July would be, like, where I would like them to start, because that's when Comic-Con is, that's where I would like them to start. Because that is only 3 months, which isn't that long. Yeah, I did notice my last video was similar to William's. It was pure coincidence, really. I got my rumour the night before that video came out, and then obviously William posted his the same day. What I hope that means is that, you know, the rumours are starting to become a bit more consistent, or it could just be that people are copying the same people. I don't really know, but yeah, they are similar, but like that's just tends to be what happens. There may be a teaser during the year, as I hope there is. I hope as well that, like, if Jodie is, I think, to be honest, the longer they delay at this point the announcement whether Jodie's staying or leaving, I think the more volatile the conversation around that topic gets. And I think they'd be better off at this point just telling us whether she is or not, rather than keeping us in this state of limbo where it's like, ooh, is she, isn't she, you know? On Twitter, there was something about the Doctor Who intern. Yeah, it was just a joke, basically. They were trying to say that the Doctor's the Doctor Who Twitter intern. That was kind of the joke. Hopefully, the Weeping Angels are written well. To be honest, the Cybermen were done well until the finale. Yeah, I liked them in Haunting of Illuminati. I just kind of think that they, like most series, got completely squandered and put next to the Master for some reason. But I'm going to end this stream. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you haven't already. The replay will be available as soon as this video stream ends. So thank you all for watching, and goodbye.